right, good afternoon. I am still at the hospital, so I am sitting here recording this video so that you will be able to read, do, and follow along. One thing I want to tell you is make sure that you have gone back and finished all your lesson 1.3 assignments, because those will close today on Friday at 11:59 tonight. Anything that you don't have done will go in as a 0, so you want to make sure that you've got that. Here, with this lesson 1.4, this is going to be using assigning values to variables and getting user input. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly go over this so that you can go through and start working in with the notes. I want you to watch this first video. This is coming through and it's going to explain how you can initialize variables and then update them later as the program goes. So for example, you have X that is initialized with a value of 8 and Y is initialized with a value of 15. But as it runs, it's going to change those values. And if you were to print at the end, the values changed from 8 and 15 to something else. So make sure you go and watch this video. It's very short. On this next slide, this is talking about where you can copy from one variable to another. And even though you do copy it, like for right here, I'm bringing in points. We don't know what points value is when it's running, but we're bringing it in and we're using it to calculate our score. It does not change the value of the points variable that I'm copying from. It just is being used to calculate the score. Okay, so make sure you pay close attention to that. There are 3 activities, 1.4.1 through 1.4.3. So as you're going in and doing that, make sure that you are paying attention to what's going on and learning from it, just not just doing. Another part that you'll have to know is that when you are initializing a variable for the very first time, that's where you're giving it a value. That value can change during the execution, but it's always going to have a single value assigned to that variable at the end. They also, in order to do certain calculations, you have to make sure that you have the data type correct. So in activity 1.4.4, there is an error here. It's going to throw an error at you, and you're going to have to go and change the declarations on one of them because it does not like the data type. So try it out and figure out what it is. It is very simple, but it has to do with a decimal, and it does one of these. Either the X or Y does not deal with decimals, and it will show you what's going on. Now, another thing that you have to know is when you are declaring a string variable, you do not have to give it a value. But if you don't, it's going to be considered null, which means nothing. It's just holding an empty space. Now, a little bit later, you can come back and you can change that null to actual text. But objects can be hold null. String literal is null until you actually fill it. If it's going to be a number, it's going to give it a 0. It's going to actually hold a 0 because that's a number. But a string will hold null until you actually assign it something. All right. In your notes, you'll see that there's several tracing exercises. This is something you got to be able to do. You have to look at the code and trace it out. Pay close attention to what plus plus and minus minus there. Remember, the plus plus means you're adding 1 Minus minus so that's going to go up. Minus minus means you're going to take it down by 1. Okay, so calculate what this does, and when it prints these values, is it going to be a 2 and a 7, or is it going to be something else? Try to figure it out first, and then type it in Eclipse and see what happens. So what you need to know is plus plus is the same as plus equals 1. And this is the way that we did it in Python. Minus minus is the same as minus equals 1, which is also the same as score equals score plus 1. These are all the same. So there's 3 different ways that you could actually do this. College Board doesn't care how you do it as long as it's the legal way. If you look at the activity 1.4.5, it has the old-fashioned way, and it wants you to increment it by 2. We've done that one as well. Figure out how to increase the score by 2, but using the shortcut, like the plus, using the pluses. Okay? All right. The last piece, and this is a big piece, we've got the scanner class. This is a biggie that you've got to do this year. This is brand new for this course. You've got to be able, this is how you will read in user input. In Python, we did this. We said input parentheses, okay? And we assign that to a variable. Can't do that. Instead, you have to call for your scanner, give it a name, and you'll see in just a second. But when you're bringing in the scanner, you can bring in text, you can bring in audio, you can bring in video, or you can make tactile, like a button. And so you can have scanner objects using those. But to get you started, I did provide you with this video. This is Alex Lee. He's excellent. And click and follow along with him, and he will talk you through how the scanner works and how to use it. I did want to give you this. These are the basic steps. First, at the very top of your screen, if you go back and watch that video, you have to import the scanner. Then you have to give it a name. You'll notice that it starts with a scanner here. The word scanner's in all caps. This is the name of the scanner. And then on the opposite side of the equal sign, you have to say new scanner. And then in the parentheses, it's important, you have to say system.in, because you're bringing in the item, where with print you have system.out. All right, now you have to assign whatever data you're bringing in to a variable. Okay, if it is a string, whatever comes after the next changes. Okay, so again, the scan has to match right here. Now I will tell you, this is my scan, but here I use scan. I probably messed up there, but you know, when you're doing this, the names have to be the same. So you would have the data type, the variable name, then your scanner that you named, and then .next. And if it is text, it's going to be a line. If it's an int, it would be .next int. If it's a double, it'd be .next double. If it's a float, you have .next float. Here's Boolean. And then char is something totally different. If you want just a single word, you could do .next, but in most cases you do .next line. And then at the very end, you want to make sure that you close your scanner. So again, make sure you go back and watch this video because he is very good, and it makes sense. And you should do very well with this. All right, so once you're done, there are a couple of challenges that you need to do. There is the cutting challenge for dog ears. Read and follow the instructions. I don't think you're going to have to use a scanner for this one, but you will have to do it for the labs that I have set up. Then you're going to do this file. You're actually going to write a program that would actually write out Java. Each one of these is on a separate line. So you kind of have to space it out. And I did this one on purpose because I wanted you to, to figure it out. This is some, logic thinking. So this is a line. You have to think you're going to have 4 separate lines. So you have to kind of plan it out there. The README-IN file, this one you are going to have to use the scanner. So write a program that would do addition, multiply, subtracting, divide, and the mod. Create 3 integer variables and assign it using from user input, so you're going to get it in from the scanner. Create another variable to handle the results of the math program and from the user input, and then you're going to print it to the screen. So these are the things that I want it to show. Again, this would be user input, this would be user input, this is your result. So these would be your 3 variables, if that makes sense. And this is how I want it to show up. And that's it from the notes. Okay, now I am going to go back, kind of go over the other things. You have a couple of things here. Pizza Price will be open by then. Make sure you read the instructions, and then right here I have where the sample of results. This is how it would show when you're running it in. You're going to ask the user for the diameter of the pizza in inches. So if they're small, it's going to give you a 10-inch. If it's a medium, they should give you 12, or if it's a large, it's 14. Your pizza cost is 50 cents, and so you would multiply that from whatever the number they give you, and then it should calculate the total for you. So this is a short one, but this will just prove to me that you know how to use that scanner. All right, now I gotta get back. Silly greeting. This is a fun one. Here, you're going to ask the user for their name, and then it's going to print and give them a silly name. Like here, they put in Alex, and so it's going to parrot back and say, "Hello, Alex the Magnificent." So you make up whatever is going to show at the end. Just don't be too insulting to me, okay? All right, and the very last one, coins. And coins is going to make you work a little bit. So here you're getting 4 different user inputs: quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. So they're going to give you a total for each one. Then you have to calculate the total dollar value for each type of coins. So if I say I have 25 quarters, well, you're going to have to calculate and see how much money there is for quarters, and so forth. Same thing for dimes, nickels, and pennies. Then you have to calculate the total value and display it. So I always try to give you a example. And so here you can say, here, I can show you that I had 4 quarters, 3 dimes, 2 nickels, 7 pennies. And so it did the calculations, and it shows me how much it is for each coin version, and then gives me the total. Okay. That one's not too hard, but it will make you think a little bit. And last but not least, oh, that was it. I had favorite number here, but apparently I forgot to turn on, and that's okay. I may not make you go back and do it. Again, you will turn in your activities. Looks like 5 of you already have. From 1.4, put it on a Google Doc. Oop, wrong thing. And then you should be able to submit. I will have my email on tomorrow, so if you get stuck, just let me know, and I should be able to get in and do some changes. Okay.